Part 2, 512. Here we go. Out of nowhere, a problem that doesn't really relate to the title. But that's the MO of this pre-calc curriculum, so let's dive in and see what happens. So here we got an inequality. Better look at what x cannot be. I look at this and I say, hey, x cannot be negative 2. So x cannot be negative 2. I look at this, x cannot be 0, because you can't have zeros in your denominator. So we're going to attack this problem by saying, hey, x cannot be 0, x cannot be negative 2. Step 2, we're going to find out exactly what x does equal. So I'm going to add up, because I don't want to forget that minus, and I'm going to multiply. If this is a 2 and that's a 3, I'd multiply by 6. How do I do that? X times x plus 2. X times x plus 2. So, over here, the x plus 2's cancel. I'd be left with x plus. Then if I distributed all of this to that, my x's would cancel right here. So I'd be left with negative 1 times this, giving me negative x minus 2 is greater than. Now nothing cancels, but I got to multiply this times this, so I get 2x times x plus 2, distribute, and I get 2x squared plus 4. Now I see I got a trinomial lurking. X minus x is gone. I'm going to add 2, that's supposed to be an x. Almost made a mistake there. All right. So add 2. So I get 0 is greater than 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. Notice I can divide all this by 2, so I should. So I get 0 is greater than x squared plus 2x plus 1. I can factor that. X plus 1, x plus 1. And I say, hey, x, now I'm going to think of this as equals. So I want to find out what x is. Like, where are my zeros? And that would be negative 1. So I know right here, that is my 0. What that means is, we have area number 1, area number 2, area number 3, and 4 to investigate. Now it's not as hard as it looks. We're going to go back to the original, and I'm going to write it right here. 1 over x plus 2 minus 1 over x greater than 2. We're going to find out which regions, if any, are true. So I'm going to plug in negative 3 for x and see if it's true. So I get 1 over negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1 minus 1 over negative 3 is actually negative 1 plus 1/3. Is that greater than 2? No. A negative can't be greater than a positive, so that eliminates that space. So now we're going to investigate here. And I see negative 1.5 is right here, so I'm going to go 1 over, a little mental math, negative 1.5 plus 2 is 0.5, or a half, minus 1 over negative 1.5. This is getting a little wonky, but we'll deal with it. These two negatives make a positive. This right here, I got to multiply by the reciprocal, so I get 2 plus, notice, I don't even care what that is. 2 plus something is definitely going to be greater than 2. So this is a yes. So space 2 is a yes. Now let's go to space 3. Plug in the easiest number possible, negative 0.5. So 1 over negative 0.5 plus this would be 1.5 plus, minus, those little mistakes, 1 over negative 1.5. Whoops, 0.5. Boy, I'm just determined to make a mistake. Is greater than 2. Let's look at it. Well, this number I'm going to talk about in a minute. This right here is what I'm really concentrating on. That's 1 over 1/2, which actually equals 2. So I've got something, some number, 1 divided by 1.5, 1 divided by 1.5 minus 2 is greater than 2. We better take a look at this. Let me grab my calculator. Just want to make this very clear to us all. So I get 1 divided by 1.5, and that's 0.66. So 0.66 minus 2 is greater than 2? I don't think so, because that's a negative being greater than a positive. No. So space 3 doesn't work. So let's investigate space 4 by just plugging in a nice easy 1. Well, 1 plus 2 is 3, so I get 1/3 minus 1 over 1 is greater than 2. Well, 1/3 minus 1 is going to be a negative greater than 2. Like, nope. So the only space that works is between -2 and 1. So that would be my answer, -2. Well, I think the book will go x is greater than -2, less than or equal to 1. Okay? So that does it. Good luck on your homework. All right, I had a feeling I made a little mistake. You guys watching the video, you probably picked up on it, but when I investigated this space and put -0.5 in, something went wrong, but I erased it, so I'm not sure what it was. But let's check out -0.5 one more time. So this would be 1 over 1.5, which we said was 0.66. I think I forgot the two negatives, because this is plus, and then 1 divided by 1/2 is actually 2, and we see that, yes, this is true. So this space actually works also. So space 2 and 3 work. So the book will write it in interval notation, -2 to -1, together with -1 to 0, both of those spaces. There you go. All right. It's the little things that get you.